People flow in and flow out of the marches all the time, for all sorts of reasons. Work, family, adventure. Some people were just passing through and never meant to stay. Others thought they would live their lives here, and somehow events swirled them away. Piotr grew up in Poland, and he went to study at the University of Krakow. And Krakow was everything he expected and dreamed it would be. It was a place full of beauty and adventure. What he didn't expect was to meet a beautiful and adventurous man and to fall in love. Piotr wasn't ready for that. In the old days, Krakow was the capital of Poland, and in those days when Krak was king, there was a dragon who lived in a cave on the banks of the river Vistula. Those were bad times to be in Krakow. The dragon ate everything that moved. All the warriors and the heroes went up against it, but, well, they were defeated and devoured. But there was a tailor, and he mulled and mused as he stitched and sewed, and he had an idea. He took a sheep and he slit open the belly, took out the intestines and packed it instead full of sulphur. Then with those careful tiny stitches, he sewed it back together, and he left that sheep outside the dragon's cave. When the dragon woke up, he smelt that meat. One snap, one gobble, the sheep was gone, but a little later, the dragon realised its mistake. Its belly began to roil. A terrible thirst came upon it. It stretched out its long neck, put its head in the water, and it drank and drank and drank. Its belly swelled, but its thirst was as strong as ever. It drank and drank and drank, and still it didn't slake the thirst. Its skin was taut and tight. Still it drank. Its skin stretched between the scales until at last the skin ruptured, and in a confetti of smoked flesh and scales rained down, and the people danced in celebration. It takes time to defeat dragons, and it takes courage to explode your fears. Piotr wasn't ready. He broke up with his lover, sent him away, and his lover got on a plane, took to the skies, flew to a new land with new rivers, the River Wye and the River Severn, the River Lugg and the River Frumy. And in that new land he even found a new dragon. The dragon was just tiny when Maud first found it. She was just a little girl. She took it, fed it milk, she hid it in Hoff Woods, and it grew. It grew to the size of a cat, to the size of a dog, to the size of a donkey, until it was enormous. Dragons don't grow that big on milk. That dragon wanted meat. Hoff Woods became suspiciously quiet. And then all around, sheep started disappearing, cattle started disappearing, people started disappearing, and then people started taking notice, and when they discovered the enormous dragon, it was too late. It was too fierce, too ferocious. The only person who was safe was Maud, and she would not harm her dragon. Well, the warriors and the heroes came, and they were eaten one by one in turn, until at last there was a prisoner, a man who was condemned to die, and he asked for permission to try his luck against the dragon, to make his death mean something. Well, of course they let him, and they even gave him the barrel that he asked for. He took that barrel down to the place where the River Wye and the River Lugg meet, the place the dragon still came to drink. And he hid in that barrel, and he waited until the ground began to shudder with the coming of the dragon, until the shadow fell over the barrel, and still he waited until the dragon stretched out its long neck to lap at the water, exposing the soft skin beneath its chin, and then the man erupted upwards with his spear, driving it deep into the dragon's flesh, and the blood rained down. The dragon sank to its knees, crushing the man. Maud saw what had happened, and she came racing down, flinging her arms around the dragon, her hot tears mingling with the dragon's hot blood. and all washed away by the rivers. Seasons turned. University is a place to grow, to stretch yourself. And that's what Piotr did. He grew in confidence. He stretched himself. He stretched his skin until he began to feel confident and comfortable in it. After 4 years, at last, he was ready. He finally followed the river Vistula down to the sea and beyond, to a new land with new rivers and stories. 2 stories, 2 dragons, 2 men met in the coffee pot at Hereford, watching the River Wye flow by. There are many reasons to come to the marches, many reasons to stay, but maybe love is the strongest reason of all.